From orphan to empire, defying odds and rewriting the entrepreneurial playbook. Welcome, dreamers, doers, and disruptors. You've just tuned into a special edition of the BlackCEO Podcast, where we're about to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about success, resilience, and the power of the human spirit. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary life and insights of Dr. Jacquie Hadnot, a woman who has not only defied the odds, but has completely rewritten the playbook on what it means to be a black entrepreneur in America. Now, before we dive in, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a 15-year-old girl, orphaned, facing a world that seems determined to write her off. Fast forward a few decades, and that same girl is now Dr. Jacquie Hadnot, a successful accountant, organic chemist, perfume manufacturer, movie producer, and director. Oh, and did I mention she's also a beacon of hope for aspiring entrepreneurs across the globe? Talk about a plot twist. Dr. Hadnot's journey isn't just inspiring, it's a masterclass in human potential. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that our past doesn't define our future, and that with enough grit, creativity, and yes, a sprinkle of audacity, we can transform our wildest dreams into reality. Her impact extends far beyond her business ventures. She's reshaping narratives, breaking barriers, and paving the way for a new generation of black entrepreneurs. In essence, she's not just building businesses, she's building a legacy of empowerment and possibility. So buckle up, folks. We're about to dive into a conversation that will challenge your assumptions, ignite your ambitions, and maybe, just maybe, change the trajectory of your life. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Another rags to riches story? Haven't we heard this all before? Well, let me stop you right there. This isn't your typical success story. This is a raw, unfiltered look at what it really takes to succeed when the deck is stacked against you. And trust me, by the end of this talk, you'll be looking at your own challenges in a whole new light. Let's start with a reality check, shall we? Did you know that the average female-owned black startup raises only $30,000 in capital? Now, hold on to your seats because here comes the kicker. The average startup in America, they're raising a cool $5 million. That's not just a gap, folks. That's a Grand Canyon-sized chasm of inequality. But here's where it gets interesting. Dr. Hadnot looked at that $30,000 and said, challenge accepted. And that, my friends, is where our first lesson in resilience comes in. Resilience. It's a word we throw around a lot, isn't it? Like it's some magical quality that some people are born with and others aren't. Well, I'm here to tell you that's a load of hogwash. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build one setback at a time. Dr. Hadnot shared a story with me that perfectly illustrates this point. Picture this. She's just starting out, full of dreams and determination, knocking on doors of banks and investors. And what does she get? Door after door slammed in her face. Now, at this point, many people would have thrown in the towel, but not our Dr. Hadnot. Oh, no. Instead of seeing closed doors, she saw opportunities to build her own doors. She didn't just adapt, she innovated. She taught herself web design, not because she wanted to be the next Silicon Valley whiz kid, but because she needed a website and couldn't afford to hire someone. She dove into marketing basics, and not out of passion, but out of necessity. She even started bartering her services for mentorship from successful business owners. Now, let's pause for a moment and really let that sink in. Here's a woman who, by all societal standards, should have been content with just surviving. But she wasn't just surviving. She was thriving. She was turning every no into a watch me. And you know what the beautiful irony is? Those skills she learned out of sheer necessity, they became the very foundation of her success. It's like she was building her empire brick by brick, with each rejection adding another layer to her fortress of resilience. But here's the thing about resilience. It's not just about gritting your teeth and pushing through. It's about being smart, being adaptable, and sometimes it's about knowing when to pivot. And that brings us to our second key lesson, the power of creative resourcefulness. Now, I want you to think about your own journey for a moment. How many times have you faced a roadblock and thought, well, that's it, game over? How many times have you let a no be the period at the end of your sentence instead of a comma in your ongoing story? Dr. Hadnot's journey from accountant to organic chemist to movie producer isn't just an impressive resume. It's a testament to the power of adaptability. She shared with me how each transition taught her something new, not just about business, but about herself. Success, she said, isn't about sticking to one path. It's about recognizing opportunities and having the courage to seize them. Let me tell you about another remarkable woman who embodies this principle, Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson. Now, Dr. Jackson's field was theoretical physics, a far cry from Dr. Hadnot's diverse business ventures. But the principle remains the same. Picture this: a black woman in the 1970s working in a field dominated by white men. The odds were stacked against her from the get-go. But Dr. Jackson didn't just adapt, she innovated. She invented the technology for caller ID while working at a TAN. Think about that for a moment. Every time your phone lights up with a name instead of just a number, you're benefiting from the innovation of a black woman who refused to be limited by her circumstances. What Dr. Jackson and Dr. Hadnot both demonstrate is that being an entrepreneur, especially a black entrepreneur, is about more than just running a business. It's about solving problems, creating value, and sometimes inventing entirely new ways of doing things. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but I'm not a scientist or a multi-industry mogul. How does this apply to me? Well, let me tell you, it applies to you more than you might think. You see, the principle here isn't about becoming a world-renowned physicist or a multi-millionaire entrepreneur overnight. It's about recognizing that your unique experiences, your challenges, your very identity, these aren't obstacles to your success. They're your secret weapons. Think about it. Every time you've had to find a workaround because the traditional path wasn't open to you, that's innovation. Every time you've had to explain your vision to someone who just doesn't get it, that's honing your communication skills. Every time you've had to stretch a dollar further than it should go, that's financial acumen. You've been training for entrepreneurship your whole life and you didn't even know it. But let's be real for a moment. This journey isn't easy. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn and grow continuously, which brings us to our third key lesson, the importance of patience and adaptability in the entrepreneurial journey. Dr. Hadnot shared a metaphor with me that I think beautifully captures this concept. She said, success in business is like planting a garden. You don't plant a seed and expect to harvest the next day. You nurture it, you adapt to the weather, you learn about the soil, and sometimes you realize you need to plant something entirely different. Now, I want you to really sit with that for a moment. How often do we expect instant results in our ventures? How often do we give up when success doesn't come as quickly as we'd like? Let me share another story from Dr. Hadnot that really drives this point home. When she first started her perfume and bath products company, she had a clear vision of what she wanted to create. But as she began to engage with customers and understand the market, she realized that her initial product line wasn't quite hitting the mark. Now, here's where many entrepreneurs go wrong. They become so attached to their original idea that they refuse to adapt. They try to force the market to conform to their vision rather than adapting their vision to meet the market's needs. But not Dr. Hadnot. Instead of stubbornly sticking to her original plan, she listened, she learned, she adapted. She spent months reformulating her products, learning about different scent profiles, and even studying the psychology of fragrance. It was a process that required patience, humility, and a willingness to pivot. The result, a product line that not only resonated with her target market, but also opened doors to partnerships with major retailers. But here's the kicker. If she had insisted on overnight success, if she hadn't been willing to put in the time and effort to truly understand her market and refine her offering, she might have given up long before she hit her stride. This story highlights a crucial truth about entrepreneurship. Your first idea isn't always your best idea. Success often comes from being willing to evolve, to listen to feedback, and to sometimes completely reinvent your approach. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but what about the practical challenges? What about access to capital, mentorship, and resources? These are valid concerns, especially for Black entrepreneurs who often face systemic barriers in these areas. And this is where leveraging support systems becomes crucial. Dr. Hadnot emphasized the importance of seeking out and utilizing every available resource. She pointed out programs like the Small Business Administration's Minority Small Business and Capital Ownership Development Program. These initiatives are designed to provide educational resources, mentorship, and access to favorable loan terms for minority entrepreneurs. But here's the thing. These resources are just tools. The real power lies in how you use them. Dr. Hadnot shared how she approached these programs, not just as a means to an end, but as opportunities to learn, network, and grow. She didn't just attend workshops, she built relationships. She didn't just take loans, she sought advice on how to maximize every dollar. This proactive approach to leveraging support systems is something every aspiring entrepreneur should take to heart. It's about recognizing that you don't have to go on this journey alone. There are people, programs, and resources out there designed to help you succeed. Your job is to seek them out and make the most of them. But let's take this a step further, because here's the truth that's not talked about often enough. As a Black entrepreneur, you're not just building a business, you're building a legacy. You're creating opportunities, not just for yourself, but for your community and for future generations. Think about it. Every time you succeed, you're not just adding a digit to your bank account. You're changing narratives. You're challenging stereotypes. You're opening doors that have been closed for far too long. Dr. Hadnot shared a powerful insight about this. She said, every time I succeed, I'm not just winning for myself. I'm winning for that little girl who looks like me and dreams of being an entrepreneur. I'm winning for my ancestors who were denied these opportunities. I'm winning for my community that needs to see what's possible. That's the kind of perspective that turns a business into a movement. It's the kind of thinking that transforms entrepreneurs into leaders. Now, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of storytelling in entrepreneurship. Because here's the thing. As a Black entrepreneur, your story is your superpower. In a world that often tries to put us in boxes, our stories are what set us free. They're what connect us to our customers, our investors, our mentors. They're what make our brands unique and our visions compelling. Dr. Hadnot shared how she used her story, her journey from orphan teenager to multi-industry entrepreneur, not as a sob story, but as a testament to what's possible. She used it to connect with customers who were looking for more than just products. They were looking for inspiration. She used it to convince investors who might have otherwise overlooked her. She used it to mentor young entrepreneurs who saw in her story a reflection of their own potential. Your story, with all its challenges, all its twists and turns, that's not baggage. That's your unique value proposition. That's what sets you apart in a crowded market. But here's the caveat. It's not enough to just have a powerful story. You need to know how to tell it effectively. This is where many entrepreneurs fall short. They either downplay their journey, thinking it's not professional enough, or they focus so much on their struggles that they forget to highlight their triumphs. The key is to find the balance, to weave your story into your brand in a way that's authentic, compelling, and relevant to your audience. It's about showing not just where you've been, but where you're going, and inviting others to join you on that journey. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to address something that I know is on many of your minds: the fear, the doubt, the voice in your head that says, who am I to think I can do this? Let me tell you something. That voice, it's a liar. It's the voice of every person who ever told you to be realistic. It's the voice of a system that wasn't built for us to succeed. And it's time to tell that voice to shut up, because here's the truth. You are exactly who should be doing this. Your experiences, your perspective, your unique vision, that's exactly what the business world needs. We don't need more of the same. We need disruption. We need innovation. We need you. Dr. Hadnot shared a mantra that she uses whenever that voice of doubt creeps in. She says, I am the descendant of people who survived the unimaginable. My very existence is an act of rebellion. My success is not just possible, it's inevitable. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. Your success is not just possible, it's inevitable. If you're willing to put in the work, to stay resilient, to be adaptable, and to never lose sight of your vision. So where do we go from here? What's the call to action? First, I want you to make a commitment right here, right now. A commitment to yourself, to your dreams, to your potential. Say it out loud. I commit to pursuing my entrepreneurial dreams with everything I've got. Second, I want you to take action today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's registering for that business course you've been eyeing. Maybe it's finally putting your business plan on paper. Maybe it's reaching out to a potential mentor. Whatever it is, do it today. Third, I want you to start building your support system. Seek out other entrepreneurs, especially other Black entrepreneurs. Join networking groups, attend workshops, find your tribe. Remember, your network is your net worth. Fourth, start telling your story. Practice it, refine it, use it. Your story is your superpower. Start wielding it. And finally, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise that no matter how tough it gets, and it will get tough, you won't give up. Promise that you'll keep pushing, keep learning, keep growing. Promise that you'll be as resilient and adaptable as Dr. Hadnot, as innovative as Dr. Jackson, as unstoppable as the entrepreneurs who came before us and paved the way. Because here's the thing. Entrepreneurship isn't just about building a business. It's about building a better world. It's about creating opportunities where none existed before. It's about proving that success isn't determined by the color of your skin or the circumstances of your birth, but by the strength of your resolve and the power of your vision. You are the architects of the future. You are the disruptors, the innovators, the game changers, and the world is waiting for what you have to offer. So let me ask you one final time. Are you ready? Are you ready to defy the odds? Are you ready to rewrite the rules? Are you ready to build your empire? Because I believe in you. Dr. Hadnot believes in you, and it's time for you to believe in yourself. Your entrepreneurial journey starts now. The only question is, how far are you willing to go? Thank you for joining me on this special edition of the Black CEO Podcast. Remember, your dreams are valid, your aspirations matter, and your success is not just possible, it's inevitable. Now go out there and show the world what you're made of. The future is waiting, and it's got your name written all over it.